Purgatory. It is probably one of the most asked about topics of Catholicism in general. And Orthodox has their own version. Some of them call it the aerial toll houses. It is a answer to the how somebody is purified before they go to heaven. One of the ways that is popular to answer it is through poetry. And Dante Alighieri wrote his Divine Comedy. And the second book of the Divine Comedy is Purgatorio. He talks about this 7-layer mountain, and they're all deviations from love. The first layer is pride, then envy, anger, sloth, avarice, lust, gluttony, and then lust. And he talks about all the different ways that the penitent is purified from these capital sins by way of the capital virtues. And the purging manner that he uses is very interesting for someone. For example, pride. The proud have to carry a large boulder on their back, and their head is brought down to the ground, teaching them the physical lesson of humility. And the penitent prays throughout this entire time on the mountain. They pray a version of the Our Father. And envy, their eyes are sewn shut because they were jealous of the other people. They were jealous of what the other people had. Their eyes are sewn shut and they seek the charity of the saints. And anger, there's this black cloud of smoke that surrounds everybody, because smoke, just like anger, it blinds us to justice and suffocates our feelings. And the penitent then prays the Agnus Dei prayer, the Lamb of God prayer. And sloth, the person is slow to move with a love for God. Here we have the love of the body, and finally with lust. But the love of God is what changes here. With pride, it's all about me and how I can be something. And sloth is just not really moved with the love of God to do anything. So in the middle of the mountain, that's when you are given the overwhelming virtue of zeal. You're constantly moving, and as he writes in the Purgatorio, the penitent is constantly moving with zeal, actively doing stuff for the faith and praying. Avarice is when you have the people who sought wealth and riches and fame, and the punishment there, or the way that they are driven to no longer love wealth and fame, is that they then just burst out and ecstasy of the Gloria in Excelsis, the glory of God. It's all that they care about is the glory of God rather than the glory that they had in the world. And gluttony, as we all know, is the sin of taking so much that another person can't have it. So eating so much that another person can't have the food. And the gluttony, the sin of gluttony is then changed over to the blessed are they who hunger for righteousness. And if you recall, that's one of the Beatitudes that Christ did on the Sermon on the Mount. And last we have lust. He goes on to explain the natural and unnatural forms of lust, but safe to say, he just points out that the chastity is the way that the people who suffered with lust is the virtue that they grow on. And chastity has two ways of looking at it. And in the Old Testament, you had the unchaste. And if you look at the prophet Hosea, his unchaste spouse was the allegory for Israel, who went off for other gods. And the chaste spouse is the one who sought only God. The people who are lustful, they sought all sorts of pleasures to satisfy themselves. But the chaste ones are the ones who sought only God, who sought only their spouse. So this is the way to look at the 7-layer mountain. And honestly, the Purgatorio could be a multi-hour series. So hopefully I did good enough on this 5-minute one.